So I can see I got a hill coming up. So some of the things I'm thinking about, I'm scanning my gauges, making sure everything's within normal operating limits. I'm looking ahead. I know this route. I know the hill. I'm going to downshift this when we get a little bit closer to third gear. That way I'm easier on the transmission. I can keep the engine in its power band. What I'll do is I start in third gear. If I feel that the transmission is working too hard and floating between two gears, I'll back it down a little bit more to keep it in the sweet spot. I'm going to go ahead and bring this down to second. You can hear the motor's in a good spot with the RPM. Nice power band, and I'm just going to take it nice and easy up the hill. Just like any time driving, I'm always scanning ahead to see what these cars are doing at any intersection. Leaving myself plenty of space to stop if I need to if the area gets tight. Temperature's good, everything looks good at this point. I'm going to go ahead and let this person go through because they pulled up too far. Didn't leave me much space to make the turn even though I had the right of way. Making sure I stop before the crosswalk, everything's clear. Now I can proceed through. So remember, whenever we put this in the lower gear, whatever we select, if it's second gear, that means we have first and second. It's just limiting how far it can go up into the range. All my gauges, my engine oil temperature looks good, air pressure is good. Signaling, I'm making a left turn, making sure everything's clear. Go ahead and complete my turn. Line corner like this, I'm going to slow down a little bit, make sure nobody's coming around tight on us. A series of tight corners. We're just going to take it nice and easy. Make sure nobody's coming around or we have any bikers like we have right here. So we're just going to let him go ahead so we don't pinch him coming up to the intersection. We have to go a little bit wider here, so we're going to go into opposing traffic to clear the corner and then bring it back into our side of the lane. Somebody backing out, I just want to make sure they see us. Give plenty of room to the bicyclist. Let these cars go so we don't get up on the curb. So we're going to have to go a little bit wide into the other lane. All my gauges are still within normal limits. Engine temperature's good. So we're coming up on a long, steep downhill around this corner. So this is one where before you go down the hill, you want to know the territory, how long, how steep. As I'm approaching it, I'm going to typically use one gear lower than what I would use to climb it. If I don't know what that is, I'm going to just start low, more conservative, and use the engine pressure compression to help slow the rig. So I'm going to go ahead and start off in low. And I'm going to turn on my retarder. With the retarder, I have two stages here. I'm going to go ahead and go in the low one to start off because it adds a lot of heat to the transmission. What I want to do here is I want to pick a target speed. My target speed is going to be right around 15, 17 miles an hour. Once I get above that, I'm going to want to give a good firm brake application, bring myself down 5 to 10 miles an hour, and then I want my foot completely off the brake. As you can see, the motor holds pretty well, and we're not riding the brakes down this hill. If it's a little bit too slow, we can coast a little bit, but we have to maintain within our target speed, which is at 17 miles an hour. When you come up somewhere like this where it's a little bit flatter on the hill, I'm going to turn off my retarder to conserve and dissipate some of that heat. But as I approach this steep part of the hill, I want to let myself slow down so I'm well below my target speed before I even start down the hill. I'm also looking at all my gauges before I start. I'm looking at my transmission temp, which is good. I'm looking to see how my brakes feel. There's no fade. I don't have a soft pedal. I don't smell any warm brakes at this point, which I wouldn't expect because I just drove uphill. Start off nice and easy to work our way up to the hill. I don't want to start off right away with having to use a lot of brake energy. As I build up to my speed, my target speed, I want to give a good firm brake application, slow the apparatus down, and then get my foot off the brake. Close to my target speed, bring my speed back down, and then release the brake and let it cruise again. The worst thing you can do is ride the brakes all the way down. Anytime you step on them, you're creating heat. So that's why you want to give that firm application. If you're going to create heat, you want to get a good stopping effect and then get your foot off to let it cool. Getting close to our target speed again. So I'm going to move my brake, give a nice application, slow it down, and then my foot is off the brake again and we're coasting down the hill. Now you're going to see your good cars lined up behind you. You just got to keep the safe pace so you're not burning up your brakes. And if you have a safe spot, you can pull over and let them by. This point here, we're basically doing it with the retarder off, and you can see how much quicker we gain speed. This is just purely on the engine compression and gearing. As we're going down the hill, we're constantly monitoring our transmission temperature, the feel of the brakes, making sure we don't have any brake fade, and I'm monitoring the wheels to see if I smell a burning brake or if I see any puffs of smoke coming out. If I get either of those, I want to pull over and park as soon as safely possible to do so. traffic mid-block, I'm going to go ahead and signal, making sure I'm clear on my right, no bikers, no pedestrians stepping out, everything's clear. I'm going to go ahead and make my turn. If I have to go wide at all, I'm going to go wide into opposing traffic. My turn is taking the curve, finish up the turn in my lane. Okay, as I'm approaching my left turn, looking at traffic patterns, seeing if I have any bikes, motorcycles, any other cars. I don't have a stop at this intersection. I'm going to slow down to a safe speed. I've signaled. I want to make my turn wide so I'm not going over the double yellow line. As wide as I need to, nice and slow, and then bring it back to straight. Okay, we're going to approach the station here. We need to back the rig in. So as I approach, I'm going to go ahead and eat up part of my turn as I go forward. Then I'm going to have my partner get out and back me into the simulated station. So as I'm approaching, I'm visualizing any kind of obstructions. I see these cars that I have and I see my opening. There's nothing hanging overhead. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my emergency lights. As I pull up, I'm going to pull over on the opposite side of the street. I have my emergency lights on. My door's open. I'm visualizing my path where I'm going in. I'm making sure the door is completely up. There's nothing hanging. Nobody's left any equipment where we're going to go. At this point, it's safe. I'm going to go ahead and ask my backer to step out and back me into the